Friends, I am Dr. Drghosh. Welcome to my channel, Dr. Ghosh Presents. Signs, symptoms and uses of Homeo-Remedy Veratrum Album. Full name, Veratrum Album. It is a short name, Veratrum Alb. Common name, white hellebore. Source, plant, vegetable kingdom. What are the therapeutic uses of Veratrum Album? Apoplexy, angina, headache, cramps, asthma, cholera, constipation, diarrhea, epilepsy, gastric and abdominal disorders, influenza, fever, lockjaw, menstrual disorder, vertigo, rheumatism, labor, mania, etc. etc. What are the spheres of action of Veratrum Album? It acts specially on gastrointestinal tract, affecting the vegetative sphere, blood vessels and nervous systems. Temperament, nervous and sanguine temperament. Hot or chilly? Chilly. What are mental generals of Veratrum Album? Mental generals means what is the mental totality of symptoms, the mental disposition, total mental disposition of the person. This is very important to know the patient, and if you do not know your patient, you cannot treat homeopathy. Homeopathy mind is homeopathy do not treat disease, it's actually treat the person. Homeopathy treat the patient, not the disease. So you must know your patient mentally and physically. For that reason, mental generals and physical generals are most important. Particular symptoms are particular to head, so stomach or intestine or extremities. These are less important. This is secondary. Primary importance is mental general and physical generals. All medicines, particularly chronic medicines. In case of acute, everything is important. Now, what is mental generals here? Sullen indifference, again amativeness, haughtiness in expression, violent loquacity with lewdness during pain, melancholic, sits brooding in silence, wants to be alone, prays, curses, again cuts and tears thing like a maniac. All four types of mania, that is, namely, violent mania of belladonna, religious mania of stramonium, lascivious mania of Hirschemas, and melancholic mania of ignatia are seen here, and each tries to supersede others. Mind it, Veratrum Album is one of the specific for mental abnormalities. Some doctor remarked while describing in his Materia Medica that when people will know the Veratrum Album, when everyone will know this medicine, the necessity of asylum will be less in the world. Such a huge, so heavy a remarks was passed by one of the doctors. Possibly he was right. You see these things. In one phase, these patients wants to destroy, tear, break things, or violent cerebral congestion. For violent cerebral congestion with bloated face, violent and destructive mania, topmost right hand topmost image. In another phase, they sing obscene song, exhibit modesty, lie naked in bed, try to embrace and kiss other, lascivious mania. Again in another phase, they are in religious mania, always talks of God, praying, beseeching continuously. The second picture. And the third picture, melancholic mania, this has been described in the next slide. Mental general continuing. Last, some of them are in a state of brooding, full of despair and hopelessness, melancholic mania. They fear loneliness, do not bear to be alone, yet persistently refuse to talk. Think she is pregnant and will deliver soon, though really she is not. Puerperal mania, that is maniacal behaviors in lying in stage. Deceitful, they never speak the truth. Aimless wandering from home, anguish, fear of death, despair of salvation. What are physical generals of Veratrum Album? Now comes physical general. How his physical totality for physical dispositions one can understand from Veratrum Album. This copious expectoration, mind it, copious expectoration, be it vomiting, purging, salivation, urine, sweat. All expectoration are copious in nature. This is one of the most important symptoms of veratrum alba. Profound lethargy, coldness, blueness, collapse, faint from least exertion, slight injury, little hemorrhage after stool, vomiting. Another very important, and cold perspiration with all symptoms. These three important symptoms are expressive of the patient's physical generalities. Mind it. Physical general symptoms of veratrum album, continuation from PPH. Two dot means this two dot, whenever there will be two dot in front of some heading, it means continuation. Cold perspiration on forehead with all complaints. Cold as ice, breath, tongue. That is, breath, tongue both are as cold as ice. Sensation of a lump on ice on vertex. This is the vertex. This is the head, this is the face, temporal region, that is forehead, and this portion is called vertex. Tonic cramps in chest, bowel, hands, finger, toes, soles with diarrhea. What is tonic cramps? These types of cramps. When the body is taut and bent, it is taut, bent, it is tonic. When the body is lax and flat, it is clonic. Progressive weakness and emaciation in acute diseases like fever, whooping cough, etc. Sudden sinking of strength, paralysis after loss of vital fluid, postoperative shock, blood sepsis, pyemia. Pyemia means blood poisoning. Some say there is some abscess or that's like something infective ulcers. From that ulcer sometimes pyogenic, some septicemic pyogenics, that is some virus, not virus, mainly bacteria, spreads through blood and causes blood poisoning. It's called pyemia. Carphology. Carphology is seen in fever when the person in fever is in delirium, muttering something, and he's pricking bedcloth and his bed, I mean this head bags with the fingers. This is called carphology. Bad effects of fright, disappointed love, injured pride, suppressed exanthema, opium, tobacco, alcohol. All these bad effects from these things is counteracted by veratrum album. General aggravation and amelioration of veratrum album worse from exertion, drinking, cold drinks, fright, wet, cold weather, change of weather, before, during menses, before, during and after stool, touch, pressure, injured honor, opium and tobacco. All these things makes the patient worse. And better from warmth, covering, walking about, hot drinks, lying, eating meat, drinking milk. Head symptoms of veratrum album: cold sweat on forehead in all complaints, violent pain driving them to despair, better from cold, headache with nausea, vomiting, pale face, diarrhea, diuresis. Diuresis means too much of urine. Hair painful as if cold wind blowing through head. Vertex itches before headache. Vertex I already explained with diagram just before. Eye symptoms of veratrum alba: surrounded by dark rings turned upward, that is eye turned upwards, while the patient is in stupor or convulsion stage. Lacrimation with redness, lids dry, heavy. No symptoms of veratrum alba. Deep, icy cold, nose appears pointed. Epistaxis from right nostrils only at night during sleep. Now the images. This is cold sweat on the forehead. This is dark circle around the eye. This expresses the prostrated, highly exhausted state of the person, and this is epistaxis, that is bleeding from nose, the right nostrils during sleep at night. And cold sweat on forehead in all complaints. This is a very important symptom from veratrum alba. Mind you, this is a very important symptoms. Face symptoms of veratrum alba: cold, terrified look, face bluish, pinched, frowning, becomes deathly pale on rising, left cheek red as if burned, jaws cramp on chewing, locked jaw, lips blue, hangs down. Now what is locked jaw? See, This is the picture of lockjaw. If you do not know what is lockjaw, you can't understand what is happening with this lady. The lady is feeling severe pain in his mouth. He cannot move his jaw. Her jaws are locked. This is the preliminary symptom of tetanus. It's a very, very problematic and painful condition. And this is the figure where left cheek comparatively red compared to right cheek. Right cheek is pale, red cheek red. Mouth symptoms of veratrum album: toothache, teeth feels as heavy as lead, tongue cold, cool sensation as from peppermint, mouth dry, salty saliva, water tastes bitter, speech lisping. Lisping is peculiar type of pronunciation of particular letters. Somebody, persons are there say they are pronounce Z as TH. This is lisping. A modification in uttering some letters. Stammering tongues feels so heavy. Tongue feels so heavy. Throat symptom veratrum album. Very dry, rough. When drinking, as if it seems that water ran outside, not down the esophagus. Look, what is the peculiar type of symptom here? He is taking water, but he feels that his water is not going along esophagus, but it is running outside. With this, the video ends. Thanks for listening and viewing. If you have anything to say, please write in the comment section. I will certainly reply. Stomach symptoms of veratrum album: burning thirst, gulp ice water and it is vomited out soon after swallowing, desire everything cold, shower drinks, violent retching, excessive vomiting along with purging, hiccough after hot drinks, nausea while eating, cannot take food without retching, vomiting worse from drinking and least motion, cold water brush. Water brush, water brush means actually heartburn, occurs near the throat due to excessive saliva secretion of mouth mixed with HCl acid in the stomach. Then it is regurgitated and come up to throat to cause this water brush. Every food disagrees, causing painful distension, despite vomiting, nausea and retching, gnawing hunger, voracious appetite, better feeling from eating meat, drinking milk, potatoes and all green veggies disagree. Here GERD and healthy stomach and GERD stomach have been shown. In healthy stomach, when the stomach is almost full, this upper sphincter is closed and the lower sphincter is open, so that the stomach contents is emptied in this way towards duodenum. But in case of GERD, you note this, it is not closed, it is also open. So when it is almost filled up and it is open, then this acidic fluid regurgitate to the throat. This is gastroesophageal reflux disease or GERD. Abdomen symptoms of veratrum album: painful burning at pit of stomach. This is pit of stomach. This is called pit of stomach. Sinking and empty feeling, burning or cold feeling, watery, green, odorless, colorless stool in large chunks, with straining, still exhausted with cold sweat, diarrhea from drinking cold water in hot days, peritonitis, intersusception, reverse peristalsis, cutting colic as if intestine were twisted in knots and cramps in limbs and fast prostration, cholera morbus or cholera infantum, epigastrium painful as if hot coals therein. Epigastrium is, this region is called epigastrium. Note this whole abdomen is divided into 9 quadrants. 9 quadrants. This is epigastrium, right hypochondrium, left hypochondrium, umbilicus, right lumbar, left lumbar, hypogastric region, right iliac, left iliac. Epigastrium painful as if hot coals therein, constipation of nursing infants from cold weather, stools, thin ribbon, flat. Now here some special term is in there. Peritonitis. Peritonitis is, peritoneum is an abdominal covering of most of the organs, also inner wall of the abdomen. That's called peritoneum. And inflammation of that peritoneum is called peritonitis. It is a very bad form of disease. Peritonitis may lead to death. Interception means just blocking of intestinal part, say with a cramp or something like that. That is, the lumen is choked at a particular place. Interceptions. Reverse peristalsis. Peristalsis. Peristalsis is movement of the food along with various enzymes along with this from stomach towards the rectum. This is peristalsis. Sometimes reverse peristalsis occur. That is, that food along with these enzymes and various digestive juice reverse back from intestine towards heart, towards stomach. That is called reverse peristalsis. It happens sometimes. Urinary symptom of veratrum album. Urine scanty, red, brown, thick, greenish and suppressed. Involuntary leaking of urine during cough. Female genital organ, veratrum album. Symptoms. Nymphomania before menses. Nymphomania means excessive sex desire in ladies. From disappointed love, unsatisfied passion in lying in woman. Lying in woman means the woman who is in childbed is going to giving some childbirth, so that is called lying in patients. Dysmenorrhea with prolapse of uterus, with cold sweat and fainting from slightest movement. Eclampsia. Eclampsia is a very, very serious type of disease of ladies after childbirth. A lot of person or around, during pregnancy or childbirth, eclampsia may occur and is very typical disease leading to death. Puerperal mania. Mania during puerperal times. Puerperal means that particular time for lying in period. Menses too early, too profuse, suppressed. Menorrhagia, huge menses. Profuse menses, long duration, with nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. Respiratory symptoms of veratrum album. Loss of voice, cough on entering a warm room from cold air, involuntary urination with cough, rattling in chest, whooping cough with complication, barking cough with irritation worse in warm room, asthma worse in damp cold weather, better by bending head back, tickling down throat into lungs, continuous violent cough with retching worse from cold drinks. Heart symptom, veratrum album, pulse intermittent, feeble, slow, 3D, visible palpitation with chorea. Chorea is some sort of movement of the limbs, that is legs, hands, etc., which is painful. But if you see from outside, you may think that someone is dancing or he is just making various forms of his legs and hands. Actually, it is not that. It is not voluntary. It is rather involuntary, because that is a disease. Actually, those are spasms of the limbs. So this is called chorea. Picture is given here. Neck and back symptoms of veratrum album. Neck so weak, child can hardly keep it erect. Worse from whooping cough, bruised feeling in sacral region. Sacral region shown in the paragraph image, please note down. Crampy pain between scapulae, worse from motion. Extremity symptoms of veratrum album. Brachial neuralgia. This is the picture. Brachial plexus of nerves on both shoulder. There is plexus of nerves. There is a group of nerves. They are going forming various mixing. This is called brachial plexus of nerves. And inflammation of that nerve is called brachial neuralgia. Radiating pain in shoulder and upper arm, caused by damage to a nerve in the neck. Paralytic and bruising pain in arms feel
full and swollen, tingling hands in fingers. These are all symptoms of nerve inflammation. The nerve is in the shoulder region, but symptoms are going in arm and hand, fingers, because that nerve is continuing from shoulder to finger. Cramps in calves during stool. Electric jerk in legs. Must sit up and let legs hang down from bed. Pain in feet, knees as if heavy stone were tied to parts. Must move about for relief. Feet icy cold. Skin symptom of veratrum album. Wrinkled, bluish, cold. Sleep symptoms veratrum album. Wake up at night trembling. Starts as if frightened. Fever symptom of veratrum album. Icy coldness of vertex, nose, tongue, mouth, limbs wet. Internal heat with cold surface when drinking. Malaria with diarrhea. Complementary carbo-veg. Related medicines: Arsenicum album, tuberculinum, camphora and cuprum met. With this the video ends. Thanks for listening and viewing. If you got anything to say, please write down in the comment section. I will certainly respond.